this war. And for us, there is no glory in it. We fight because it's our duty to defend the people and the principles of the Republic. On every world the Sith Empire strikes, we will be there too. We will sacrifice when necessary. We will never surrender. For hope. For freedom. For the Republic!
You want to play the Trooper class. I know this is something you've stated from the very beginning.
Right.
What about the Trooper class draws you in? Like, why are you so excited about playing this class? And just what intrigues you about it?
I don't really know. Like, I've tried to think of the answer to this question a couple of times. It's just, it comes down to the fact that a couple things. A, I've always enjoyed the tanking role in MMOs. I've got a bit of a control problem, and so I like being in that place. You know, I like being at the front of things where I can control what's going on and, you know, say, hey, all the attention is here and you guys just do your thing and I'll worry about keeping the boss, you know, in check.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, I enjoy playing DPS roles, but I don't want to, from the onset, play Jedi. I guess it's because it's a comfortable idea with a new twist on it. Like, I'm really, really intrigued by the range tanking thing and how that's actually going to work. Plus, I really like the way the Trooper Luke Skywalker. No, I just really like the way the Trooper looks. I think it's, you know, they've pulled enough from the Clone Wars series and the original Stormtrooper look that it's similar to that. There's definitely some themes in place, but it's got a great solid look. I'm really intrigued about how the armor is going to upgrade for that class, because we saw with the Bounty Hunter at like PAX last year, or I think it was PAX or E3 or something like that. The way, you know, that armor progression video, something similar like that for the Trooper would be super cool.
Originally, when I saw the Trooper, or when they announced that you were going to have a Trooper class,
right,
I was really skeptical because, I mean, when you take away the original movies and all the Troopers that were involved in that, and you look at actually not really the original, when you take away the prequels and you look at just the original movies,
right,
the only Trooper that's really famous is TK-421. And Han Solo made him famous because he's the one that he, you know, killed when he was in the...
Right.
So, like, my first reaction was, wow, like, a Trooper is very vanilla.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he can't... Yeah, I saw something earlier. It was like a Trooper, or a Stormtrooper in the original series probably couldn't shoot a wall in a 10x10 room. You know, like, there's nothing previous that says the Trooper is something exciting or worth playing.
Exactly.
And I think that's a lot of people's fears so far.
And that was definitely my fear initially looking at it. And the one thing I think in the past 2 years, just looking at when they originally announced the class and some of the groundwork for it, and looking at it now, like, the biggest question was, is how is the Trooper going to compete with a Jedi?
Right.
And how are they going to make that?
Right.
And this most recent video, there's that shot.
God, that's awesome, right?
And hitting on that video, they did a great job at displaying, here's a normal vanilla Trooper that everyone thinks when they associate that with the Trooper class. Yeah. And here's what it's really like. I mean, first impressions of that video was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I just had like a total, I've never seen G.I. Jane, but I kind of felt like they watched a lot of that probably when they were...
Probably. I mean, they've got the girl who voiced the female Shepard in Mass Effect 2. She's the one who's going to be voicing the female Trooper in this game, and a lot of people really identify with her character. I remember a lot of people playing like a female Shepard in Mass Effect 2 just because her voice acting was so awesome. But I mean, beyond that voice acting, that moment in the video when the Sith is like, okay, I'm going to go all in, and he goes to Force Leap, and the Trooper just like, screw this guy, and he drops the grenade and he blows him up in midair. I mean, that's like that perfectly addresses that problem of, oh god, how is a Sith gonna, or how is a trooper gonna take on a Jedi or a Sith or something? I mean, let's be honest. However you feel about like the prequels and Order 66 and all that stuff happened, you know, it was clone troopers who took down all the Jedi.
It's true,
and you know it's been established in lore that they can do that. So that's not a problem. When
Star Wars was originally created, you had one Jedi and one Dark Jedi, and they were supposed to be at the top of their game,
right, between
Luke and Darth Vader, and so it's really hard for people to get out of the mindset that there could be other light or dark Jedis that exist, and they're not that powerful.
Yeah.
Because we automatically associate, oh, lightsaber, that means he's just going to kill everything in the room, just thinking it.
So what actually concerns you about the trooper at this point? I mean, there's a lot of good things. I mean, he's badass. He's got a giant gun.
Well, the giant gun actually does concern me.
Really?
Now, this is kind of a little nitpicky thing, but it's going to be interesting to see how they incorporate the giant gun with the everyday character.
Okay.
Like, because they talk about how you carry this gun, and I remember looking at the developer dispatch video that they released like 2 years ago, and they showed the process which they created the animation for this character, and they had an actor come in, and the actor had a massive prop, and he put it up and was trying to simulate reloading it. And he was struggling with that, and to me, I'm wondering how they're going to take this character that has this huge gun and just kind of whips it around, you know, and then when he's not using it, he puts it away and then goes into his maybe grenade action or something.
Well, I mean, the infinite backpack is always the kind of thing you have to deal with in RPGs.
I don't know if you say it's a MacGuffin, but
it kind of is. You know, it's just one of those things that you just have to accept is there. One of the things to address the grenade problem is it looks like they've, at least for one of the guns or two of the guns that they've shown us so far, like that grenade action is kind of built into the gun. So you press an ability, you load like a shell and then just shoot it off. You know, so you're not pulling out something completely different for like a one-off ability, which is nice.
And that's a good point, because transitioning between the different types of weapons, I think is not only important, but it could get a little ridiculous if you have 3 or 4 different weapons, and, and you're just flying back between the massive rocket launcher, back to the little handgun, then to the minigun that'll just lay down tons of cover fire, things like that.
And we don't know if that's going to be dependent on like your advanced class that you choose, whether or not you're just going to, like, if you're just going to use the huge gun that goes full auto all the time, like, is that like an advanced class choice, or is that something that's just kind of, you know, you can switch between in and out? Like, we really don't know.
Tell me something that hasn't been announced that you're waiting for.
I think the thing that everyone is waiting for is just kind of like how these advanced classes are actually going to work. Particularly for the trooper, he's a ranged tank, and that's not something that's very common at all in MMOs, and not something that I've personally ever seen before. So I'm really curious how that's actually going to work. I mean, I imagine there's obviously a threat mechanic and stuff like that. It's just, I think, wrapping my head around the concept of I'm a guy shooting someone from far away and I'm trying to keep his attention. And I'm not standing right in front of him, like, hitting on him with a sword.
Yeah,
you know, like, that's just
definitely different.
That's just a new concept for me that I think if they really covered that, like, I mean, that's the thing though, is they haven't talked about flashpoints, they haven't talked about endgame raids, they really haven't talked about a whole lot of things still, and so those are concepts that go kind of hand in hand with that I imagine they're probably not ready to talk about yet. But that's the thing that I would like to see next. Hey, look at me. Hey, look. Connect is so dumb.
Well, it's like, I'm starting out.
It's gotta look at you first.
Hey. Man! What are you looking all the way down there?
It's gotta find the floor.
Hey, look at me. Hey, no, screw this guy. Hey.
You're gonna go back and forth like this.
Woo!
Just one hand.
I'm a camera.
There you go, it's gonna get you Brooks.
Kale, get out of the shot! What?
It's a tiny.
Look at all those pieces! Sorry, I never put together Legos as a kid.
Really?
I had Lincoln Logs, man. I didn't have directions. You just kind of built cabins. That's what you did. You're like, hey, I made Lincoln. I'm in a cabin.
I know.
He spent his childhood
playing Little House on the Prairie.
Camera is panning too fast.
It says it right now, which is really funny.
Does that mean like you're gonna edit and it's all gonna be
So it's working?
No.
We don't know.
He's like, you can't do this.